Okay, everybody, Matt Leary here. Hey, I'm at my place and I'm going to go ahead and check my new package queen and see how she is doing since I've installed her. We put her in Saturday, April 18th. Today's Tuesday, April 21st, I'm going to guess. It's hard to tell nowadays. There's the hive right back there. You can see it. And I'm going to go ahead and get in there and I'm just going to take a quick peek. I don't really need to see the queen. If I do, what a bonus. If I don't, that doesn't really matter. I just want to look for eggs and see if she's laying. And if she is, I'm going to button her back up and let her rock and roll. So of course, like anything, I'm going to go ahead and smoke my bees before I get into them. Just kind of get them mellowed out a little bit. And it's a good practice to do anyways. You don't want angry bees, and this is something that you're going to be doing with your bees all the time. Even though the girls don't live that long, the hive gets used to you being out here, and it's just kind of like training a dog. They get accustomed to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop open the lid, and normally I'll give a little puff of smoke right here too. Check the lid, make sure there's no queen for some reason on your lid, which that's pretty uncommon, but not to say that that doesn't happen. I'm gonna go ahead and give a little puff of smoke to the bees here, get them to dive back inside, and then I'll pop that cover off and we'll take a look to see what we have. Okay, so I popped the cover off and now I'm taking a look at that, making sure I don't see the queen on the cover, and the bees look happy and healthy, and there's some pollen. I'm bringing in pollen already. That's good to see. I'm gonna go ahead and set the lid right here. If you can set it to where they can just walk in. You can lean up against that, and then any bees, they can crawl back in and go back into the hive. So I'm taking a look at here and kind of count frames of bees. You can see I have 1, 2, 3, and there is some bees around here, and there's little heads poking up everywhere. So but you could say I could at least have 3 or 4 frames of solid bees, and then those other ones are probably sitting on the top. But I'm going to assume, with the concentration of bees right here, that the queen's she likes to be on the inside, typically doesn't like to be on an outside frame. So I'm typically going to think I'm going to find her here. So I'm going to remove one of the outside frames here, probably over here, and I'll get it out of the way, and then I'll be able to work these frames and have plenty of room, and I can slide them all over. You can also take out this frame. Typically I like to work closest frame to me so I'm not reaching over the hives. So I'll go ahead and do that just for the purposes of this video. Okay, so I went ahead and took out that first frame right there. I have these frame hangers right over here where I've taken off that frame. I went ahead and took a look at it just to make sure the queen wasn't on it, and then I'll just put that out of the way. And I like that so it stays off the ground and I don't have to risk knocking it over or whatever. And it's ready for me to put back in whenever I need. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab my hive tool and make some room. And I'm going to pull this frame out real gentle. And we're going to look for the queen on this. Pull it straight up. Good idea when you're pulling up the frames, pull them straight up so they're not brushing the bees. And I like to also look and see how heavy that frame is. Now this was a food frame that I had put in there, a mix of pollen and whatnot, and I can see that they're already putting in nectar. And I'm going to take a look and see if I can find the queen. And I'm also going to look for eggs. That's my primary goal here. Found the queen, and she was on that second frame. Or actually that's the third frame. So as you can see, she's running around there looking good, and she was on that third frame where the cluster of bees was on, so I kind of figured that's where she was going to be. And I'm going to go ahead and inspect and see if we could find some eggs. So as I said before, I expected to find them on that third frame, and there she is. She's hiding. There she comes out. And I'm going to go ahead and look for some eggs on this frame, since that's where she seems to be hanging out. And if I find them there, I'm probably just I might look at the next one just to see if she's been over there yet, but I'll probably just button this back up and let her do her work. Okay, I've cleared a little spot here, and there are definitely eggs in there. This is the same frame that that queen was just on. You can see they're already laying down. So it's like 2-3 day old eggs, which is great. She's over here. There she is. Oh, there she's sticking her butt in there, getting ready to lay. And all the girls are attending to her. So this is great. So I'm just going to button this back up. I don't have to look at this for another week or so. And we'll see how she's progressing. And by that time we get in there, we should have a lot of cat brood. Okay, so that was pretty easy. What I just did, I just went and looked at a package just to make sure that my queen was in there laying. We put her in Sunday or Saturday the 18th, and today's the 21st, and she has 2 frames of eggs in there, maybe some more. I didn't want to break up the bees, and I'm trying to let them get used to their new place, do what they need to do, put some of those frames that I had from previous years in order, fix the cells or any that might have been damaged. So a little bit different. If you're using foundation, the bees are going to be drawing out comb and putting in nectar and whatnot as soon as they can. They're going to go right away. I'm using comb that's already been drawn out from years before. So my bees have a little bit of an advantage. Their home is basically already built for them. They just have to do some minor repairs. Queen can get in there and start laying right away. And they'll just make repairs around her. So she's doing great. I'm not going to interrupt her progress for the next week, and I'll give them some time. Then we'll go back in there and make sure that she's still doing what she's doing. This time of year when everything's coming on and coming on fast as far as the bloom and nectar and whatnot, they're going to start filling up those frames quick. So they'll start putting in nectar and whatnot. So one thing you're going to just want to watch out for is that the queen's not running out of room and that she has plenty of room for brood. Those people that are starting on foundation, you don't really have to worry about the nectar part so much right now. They're going to be busy drawing out that wax and providing a spot for her to lay some eggs. If you're using foundation or a comb that's already been drawn out from a year before, they can go right to work. And so the potential of them plugging out the queen earlier or plugging out the queen could happen faster. Just kind of take a look at it, get in there once a week, take a look at your bees, see what they're doing. If she needs more space, give her some more space. If she's not laying a ton yet, you don't need to worry about it. And you can also do some preventative measures, put in some foundation to slow them down, add another box, let them draw out some wax. If you're a first-year person, you don't need to worry about this stuff right now. Just take a look at your queen, see if she's laying, put her back together, and then just sit back, kick back with a beer and or wine or soda or whatever it is that you like to drink, and just chill out and watch your bees. Enjoy. We'll talk to you later.